All right, I think we are live. Let me just check that. Yes, indeed. All right, starting the stream. Cool. So we do have a way to show what's going on now. Let me just get all my other stuff up. I'm going to turn this off for a sec just to make sure that we're all good. All right. Just gonna take a second here. Getting everything else we need all set up. Where is this? There we go. All right. Cool. Let me just get that display turned back on. There we go. All right. So, as per usual, we are working on Masks Duos, a hack of Massa New Generation. Massa New Generation is a book written by Brendan Conway and published by Magpie Games. Mass New Generation is released, or the text of Mass New Generation is released under a Creative Commons Attribution 4.0 International License. The text of Masks Duos is released under a Creative Commons Attribution 4.0 International License, and the images and art related to Masked Duos is reserved to the respective artists for the main playbook piece, the character art. That goes to OG Superior Spy on Discord and Twitter. And as for the border designs, they go to Cackling Hyena 16 on Discord. So, I'm going to get one last thing done, and then we will start with the clock playbook. All right. Okay. Because I don't really know which. So we have 3 different variants of this playbook design, and yes, presently I'm just going to use the Hunter as our example because it is the completed sheet. So we have the Moment of Truth, abilities, backstory, PPO, other moves, and all that stuff on that page. Labels, conditions, potential, and extra on one side, moves and advancements on the other. Then Moment of Truth, person, place, potential, advancement, other, looking abilities, conditions, backstory, our moves, and extra. This is personally my least favorite, but I think if we wanted to keep this, we could probably expand the backstory questions out and have those get some additional space, if that's the one that we want to keep. And then we also have this one using Moment of Truth, potential, advancements, other moves on one side, looking abilities on the other. That all stays the same throughout it all. But then we get labels, conditions, backstory questions, person, place, object in that spot, moves, and extra. If I can figure out how to set up a poll, I don't think I'm going to be able to do a poll on YouTube for the YouTube viewers, but I'm pretty sure I can for the people on Twitch. If I can figure it out real quick. Otherwise, I'm just going to forgo it. Yeah. Nope, can't figure it out. Okay, so we'll just leave that for today. We'll see if we can get a poll up. But I will drop the Discord link, or the link to the Cape and Cowl Productions Discord server in the chat. Hang on a second. I see. Hmm. Oh, that's good to know. Alright. So there should be a join link to the Cape and Cowl Discord server in chat. Twice. Alright. I'm gonna work on this top variant just for now. I'm gonna close this for a second just so I don't have to worry about where tabs open, and yep, exactly why. So I'm just going to do real quick. Gonna keep my, I'm just importing images right now, but I don't think y'all need to see all my files. We go ahead and open. Cool. All right, so we have the majority of our images inserted in here. We've got our character art and our border art. First thing I'm going to do with the border art, because I just plainly import these in, I'm going to actually flip this. Oh, what? Nope. Wrong button. Transform, flip horizontally. What in the heck? Oh, I have the wrong thing selected. We just want to be in that top right border, checking down here for where we are at. And now we want to flip that. There we go. And that just makes sure that this connection here in between is all well and good. To test to see kind of where I want the text, where I want the images all connecting or not interfering, I've got the no touch divider. As long as things outside of the border don't touch there, it should be fine because that's going to be our fold line. Now I'm going to pull up our all right. Grabbing the color from my artist. High for this border color blue. We're gonna reset this fill color to be. Nope. Which friggin' button? Oh, that's what it is. Where's. The heck's my hex codes? Yep. Well. Oh, there we go. There we go, there we go. Hex slider, and our hex code. I'm gonna go ahead and import in. So we've got our blue there. So we go ahead and replace the color set there, and we can just pause on that. What in the heck? And now we can just use swatches now that it exists in there to go through. All right. So for anybody using Affinity uh, Publisher, to get this slanted box, it was a bit of an annoyance, but it is still our rectangle tool to get it. And then when you hover up on here, you'll get these two arrows. If you take the two arrows and you drag them, you get a lean. Or if you go into the transform stats down here, it's the S. S is for slant, R is for rotation. Sorry, tap my mic. There. Change up the stuff over here on the look section to match the color. And the last thing we're going to do is we're going to grab these gradients here. Switch the color. And our midpoint on this is going to be at 25% on this side, so that it's only taking, it'll stay blue for a bit longer than if we had it at the default 50%, it ends up with just a bit more white for quite a bit longer than I like it. So I leave this one at 25%. It probably could go down to 10%. I should try that. There's 10%. Look, it could probably go to 10%. I like the slighter gradient, or the longer gradient here. Not the slighter one, that's the exact opposite. And then on this side, we're going to do 75% with our color on our left. And for some reason, the swatch is gone. Cool. So I keep it always on me. Here we go. So, easy change here before we do anything else. And just hop into here. This isn't the hunter, this is the clock. Nope, wrong page. There's our right page. Again, we've got these gradients up here that we can... There we go. Now we're in that we can turn back. Oh wow, it's just completely gone in my swatches. That's cool. Alright, so we'll just have to use our hex codes here. And again, we're looking at these on 25% and 75% so that we can get that longer length, but not all the way out to the sides. Oh, nope, that's our white. We leave the white, we grab our colors and replace it. All right. So, well, I'm not going to do anything. Whoa, what just happened there? Undo that. Cool. Cool, cool. There we go. So yeah. And this is definitely something that I suggest having very clean and ordered layers. It makes it a lot easier to find your stuff because I can then just close this group, close this group, and separate my divider. Out of it, I can select specific things, so I can move the entire playbook extra section. I don't have to move every single piece of it. Hello, QWERTY. Nice to see you. So, yeah, definitely keep your different layers grouped up nice and cleanly. To show a little trick I did here, I wanted a gradient here, but if I started the gradient off too early, it would end up with the white hitting on the 3 or a different color, and it was kind of clunky, kind of poor from an accessibility standpoint. And so what I ended up doing with, let me just select that section. What I ended up doing, I broke each of these up separately. Got the override, got the texts. But in this backing, you'll notice there's 2 parts to each of these lines, and that's really the trick here. We have our one section that is that is slanted here, but ends at the text here, and it's all one color there, one lighter color than our regular border. And then we've got the gradient here at the end. Let's see. So Kiwari, do you wanna get your opinion on this? Which one of these looks better? We have moment of truth, abilities, backstory, person, place, object, which is kind of replacing the relationships and influence sections for that bit of narrative stuff, with the look on the right side. And then on page 2, labels, conditions, potential, and the playbook extra on the left side, and moves and advancements on the right. Or we can go down. Moment of truth, person, place, object, potential, advancements, other moves on the left side of page 1. Look and abilities on the right side of page 1. Labels, conditions, backstory, questions on the left side of page 2. Moves and extra on the right side of page 2. Or the last variant, moment of truth, potential, advancements, other moves on the left side of page 1. Look and abilities, right side of page 1. Labels, conditions, backstory, person, place, object, hunter move, or the moves and the extra on right side page 2. If you've got a preference, let me know. I will be putting up all those examples back up on the Cape and Cowl Discord server, with the invite link being presently in chat. Yeah, if you guys have any suggestions, just let me know. So I'm presently not going to do. All right. So this last one here. All right. Yeah, I'm definitely gonna get a full pull out for that, but thank you. Yeah, this definitely was one where I like the amount of space, and as much as my personal preference is on this first one, I like it with the reorder here. It also keeps everything the same text size, but given it is a hack of mass, keeping it to that official format look definitely is to its advantage for this last style. So I'm not going to do it right now because I don't know which color actually I should do for this, but that's how I handled the gradient on these boxes, is to split them up, and I did test it while right now. If we where's my zoom? I only know one way to zoom in on this. So if you zoom in, there is that line there that you can see. That is just a design line. If we actually went into the preview view, that would disappear on us. It's the same as kind of the intersection here, or the spacing up here. Those will all disappear in the final bit. But yeah, I'm not entirely sure which color I want for that because it's not quite just lightening up the border color, but it is largely lightening up the border color and that. Because you have to get it to a color that is visible, and then it also has to be a good text color as well, because it's the text color for the overrides. And that's another trick I used on this because I knew that I was going to reuse this same basic template for everything. So I set up with an override for each of the numbers, but we're not using any of them, or we're only using one of the overrides. I did keep it on this. Oh yeah, because this is all page 2. So the clock is going to, this is the biggest area that's going to change in between playbooks, is this extra section, because each one is going to have its own unique gimmick, which may call for, like with the hunter, that called for adding in a line and box setup. For the clock, it's going to need its own little image that'll get added in for the clock indicator. I will get that added in once we get down to that, but that is the biggest area of change on all of this, because the moment of truth gets a text change, the little blurb gets a text change, all this stuff basically will just get a text change. The labels get their override changed. Most everything will be staying the same throughout, except for the extra. The extra is what gets the most rework. No, wait. I forgot. So this is another little trick that I did, because I could use the rectangle tool and end up getting that with a couple of different like boxes and rectangles to get it to look like that, but instead I used let's see. Yeah, I used wingdings with, I believe it's, yeah, wingdings with a lowercase q gets you this little box, box in a box style that works. I'm pretty sure is the exact same as the original mass style and is just kind of generally used by everybody. And yeah, as you can tell, we used that for a couple of different boxes. That same trick. All right. I'm gonna take a quick break, just like a minute or two, get myself some water and stuff, and then we'll get back and start popping the text in and sorting things out for this extra. All right. So, let me pull up the clock playbook. All right. So this all I'm just going to highlight because this is the last thing that I do before I'm like fully done with the playbook. So this still has yet to get done as usual. However, I'll just leave it so that powers are otherworldly. Choose two. Telekinesis. Human physiology. Acrobatics. And otherworldly devices. Our moment of truth, we're going to our moment of truth is probably going to be a bit of an issue because it's a little bit larger. So yeah. This is one thing with duos that I did intend to do was make the moment of truth actually have a mechanical impact. So what's our spacing? 0.143. Let me get that spaced out and then I will talk more about it in a second. So we're actually going to extend this box, the moment of truth box, all the way down. To right there. And then this is a nice little trick with Affinity Publisher. You can select the section or the point that we want relatively. So we're going to take for our, I usually do this for the whole group just in case I miss something. So moment of truth group, we go to the bottom section. Any of these bottom three will get us what we need. Grab the location for it. We're going to head back up to that top left as we go up to abilities. And then, so if we put this in, it'll bring it down to match, but we want it to be an additional 0.143, or yeah, 0.143. So if we go to abilities, we can take this one and just do plus 0.143. It does all the math for us. So nice. And then again, we're going to go to the bottom, grab this, head back up to the top, backstory questions, copy paste, plus our 0.143. And now we're keeping consistent spacing. Backstory grab, person place. And then lastly is our other moves, which are going to get squished out. So we whoops, didn't go back up. So now that we are back up, this should work. There we go. And so now everything is equally spaced away from there. Let me just get my music swapped up here. Apologies. Okay, there we go. And yeah, if anybody has any suggestions for uh, copyright-free music, let me know and I'll set up a playlist and get that running through here as well. But right now, I don't know that and I'm not looking to get a copyright strike, so I just have the music turned off for all y'all. Apologies there. Um, so yeah, now that we have all the spacing set up so that people can see it, uh, with Mass Duos, I'm working on giving the moment of truth something mechanical as well as the narrative strength it has. So for the clock, yeah, you get full control over the clock. You get to push away the threat that has been looming over you for however long now, however many rotations you've been in this. Um, but when the clock kicks back in, it's now on overdrive. And so the first time you use this moment of truth, if a move would say to mark one slot on the world clock, you instead mark two. So it's that, and if it would, or if it would say that you, oh yeah, yeah. So now everything will be marked after one moment of truth usage. You will be marking two for every single action, both your ones that originally were only marking one and the ones that were originally marking two. Upon the second usage of your moment of truth, if it originally said to mark two, now you're marking three. So instead of going one, two, then two, two, and now you're up to two and three. So it will speed up that clock. Okay. Moment of truth abilities are backstory questions are how many worlds have been to? And this is where we can't just bring it out. When did you first start being a hero? Why are you a hero when these worlds are temporary? And that I think is one of, if not the most important question out of the backstory questions. The other two are also pretty big, but so how many worlds have you been to is good information for like, are you playing a character that is more new to it and they're still kind of a bit more hopeful of getting out? They still remember their old one. They're still, all used to all that. Um, the second question, when did you first start being a hero? Is another one that's just good. And it's not necessarily asking for like a time. It's not asking for an age. It's not asking for anything like that. it's kind of asking for an event. What event pushed you to be a hero? What forced you into the shoes of being the hero and saving the day? The third one is what I feel is the most important. Why are you a hero when these worlds are temporary? Because that is going to be a core drama of the playbook, is these worlds are temporary. You're not going to be here forever. You're just here until the clock runs out and you're sent off to the next one. Um, so I think that that is one of the things that, especially with it being, you may start out saying, "Oh yeah, I'm 100%, I'm in on this. I'm in it, or I'm still a hero because it's, the right thing to do." That should get questioned. You should be pushed back on your reasoning for continuing to be a hero, because the playbook is kind of a twist on the classic immortal drama of I'm immortal, everybody else isn't. It's really hard to make relationships. This is kind of a twist of it, where instead of you being immortal, you're still very immortal. But you're not going to be here forever. You're just here until you get sent off for the next thing. For one of the playtests, we had a character who is a wandering knight in an Arthurian theming of world building. And so every quest, they'll get one quest for their world, but after that quest is done, well, you're off to the next one. So what kept the big question was, what keeps you going? What keeps you being the good guy and doing the quests for good and helping out Arthur and not just brushing everybody else out off because, it doesn't matter. You've been to how many of them now? How does it really matter? I'm gonna take a quick pause here because now we gotta check on YouTube. Give me a second here. Are we still live on YouTube? Hmm. Weird. Well, my software says we. Oh, there we go. Now it's back. Uh, so my software's being weird, but whatever. Um, what started the clock? This is another question that I think is helpful for the GM um and the player for fleshing out their character, because it could have been their own decision or it could have been something where you get thrown in and like have a villain throw you into the time loop because of uh, a magic wand that exploded. And then what does the public think of you? This originally came from this playbook, but I think it holds true for a lot of the playbooks, hence why it's replaced the uh, why do you care about the team question. What does the public think of you? Uh, is kind of a question where you've the expectation is that you're the weird one that's coming from space. How out of place are you is kind of the question. All right. Grabbing our person, place, object questions. Ah, great. Just testing to see what the difference in spacing is here so that I know what it should be. Should be lined up with top of object text. .05. So we're actually going to grab this bottom one here. Plus .05. And there's our spacing fixed again. Apologies, I'm currently having a little bit of lag here. There we go. Because of this difference here, we can bring the size of this one back up. I'd like a little bit more room, so I'm just going to adjust the height over here manually. So we get that space without clipping down into it. Grab our bottom. Go back up to the top, grab our other moves. Box. And our spacing is 143. So top, paste, plus 0.143. There we go. That's another thing that I'm gonna have to get done. Didn't really change much of the look. That will see probably a bit of change here, but I mean the first two lines stay the same every time. All right, So our labels, and select page 2. So our labels are going to be danger 0, freak +2, savior 0, superior +1, and mundane is going to be -1. Okay. And we check with masks, the labels should add up to +2, or if you add in the +1 up here, it should add up to +3. 0, 2, 0, 3, 2. We just got to turn off the one on the -1 on superior there. So yeah, 0, 2, 0, 3, 2. All good. All the conditions, potential stays the same. All right. So let's just move over here. I'm gonna try and get our colors sorted out real quick here. I just want to test color real quick and we'll see what our outcome will be. So just a little fun fact about colors. Oh, nope, stop. There we go. So basically everybody knows about hex codes. They are just the sum of the RGB, and all of that is in, because hex, it's base 16, that's why it will go up. A is a representation for 10, B is a representation for the 11th digit, C for 12, D for 13, E for 14, and F for 15 before it moves up to the next level. That's why FF is the highest, and it correlates to an RGB value of 225. And so you can do a bit of math for colors, but I mean, it's not like it's the most precise thing, you know, because it's colors. There's not really as much of an exact science to it, but it doesn't mean that you can't use it to kind of get a rough estimate. 282. And yeah, I am a math nerd, so I absolutely like checking with the actual numbers just to see what we can do with it. You know? Let's actually try that. See how it looks. Still a bit too bright. Or too dark. A bit too bright. Yeah, that's a bit too bright. We need it darker. What happens if we bring this back down to 172? Just gonna test some killers here. I still think it's too dark. Probably. screw math, we go ahead and let's just go ahead and help. There's a color. That's the wrong color wheel. There we go. Now what happens if we... It's not a science. Actually think we can benefit from going a little bit of a lighter. The hell? Oh, that's why. Now we just go ahead and undo that. If we go ahead and turn... Oh, that's fun. Lighten it and bring it. It's not exact science. It's kind of just eyeballing it. I know that can be frustrating to have to just eyeball it. I know it's huge noise for me, but it's the way it is. Tease what he tease. There we go. Again, now we've got it right over here in swatches. So we go ahead and set that. And there's our gradient. So we've got 0 is where our override is, and because this, whoops. Since this is our template, I'm not even going to bother changing the colors for all of these. We know that it's at 0. Freak, we've got at +2. Go ahead and change the text color for our override. Change our main box color. And change our gradient. Change up. Change up the override. Change up the main backing block. And change up the gradient. And yeah, I know that we're most likely going to end up on this variation of the playbooks. I'm just editing with this variation up here because I'm going to end up copy pasting all the code, or all the, not the code, the sections into it. lagging a little bit. So this is kind of just how we do the layout work for our duos playbooks. Notably, because it just would have driven the cost up too high. Um, we would never would have hit the Kickstarter, and it wouldn't have the entirety of duos then wouldn't have existed. For our uh, for our transfer playbooks, we will not have this primary character art, and we will not have the custom border. Or we will have a custom border, but we won't have a custom border for each playbook. There will just be a custom transfer border. And yeah, I wish I could have gotten it out for everyone, get a new piece of art, or heck, even just uh, is that the right gradient? All right, so that is right. But yeah, I wish I could have used an art, a silhouette, a something here, but I didn't have the. I didn't think we would be able to actually hit it and uh, get through the goal. Um, to add in the art for the transfer playbooks, and yeah, can't use the original art. That all is rights reserved to the original artist. But yeah, I definitely uh, that's all not saying that like the artists that I have commissioned are not absolutely worth it. They're totally are. Their prices are reasonable. It's just that it's a big project, especially for a first time project. I didn't think that I would be able to actually hit it. To be frank, I wasn't fully sold on us even hitting uh, the final goal. I was kind of anxious about that. So, yeah, to everyone who made this possible, you guys amaze me. You're awesome. Absolutely amazing. Thank you so much. Because this, it literally couldn't exist without you guys. And that's just an amazing fact. Thank y'all. Alright. I'm not gonna lie, I'm kinda tired. We've been at it for an hour and a half. And it's surprisingly draining to do this first stream. Still really rewarding. Feels nice. I like doing this, but whew, I'm tired. So I'm going to call it a night here. And I might change that color on those labels. Not sold on it. But I will come back sometime soon, and we will finish up. Either we'll finish up this, or we'll be working on some other part of one of my projects. I don't really know what I'm going to do. It's kind of the fun part about this. I'm just kind of going to do whatever I want to because that's how I work. Alright. Well, thank you to everybody who could make it. Thank you for watching if you made all the way to the end of this. Yeah, thank you. Hope you have a great day.